Let me ask you something powerful. What if 7 days from now, the version of you standing in the mirror was so radically different that even your own excuses couldn't recognize you anymore? What if in one single week, you could rewrite your habits, your mindset, and your future so profoundly that people start asking, what happened to you? And your only answer is, I finally decided to become who I was meant to be. Let me tell you something powerful. Change doesn't take time. It takes a decision. People love to say, I'm working on it, or I'll change when the timing is right. But the truth is, change isn't about the clock. It's about conviction. Time doesn't create transformation. Decisions do. The moment you make a real decision, not a half-hearted wish or a maybe someday promise, everything inside you begins to shift. Your spirit stands taller, your energy sharpens, your excuses start running for cover. You don't need more time, you need more clarity. Because the minute you decide that the old you is no longer welcome, the new you begins to rise. Every day people pray for a sign to change their lives. But what if the sign has already been given, and it's you? What if the breakthrough you're waiting for is waiting on you to finally make a move? Decisions are powerful because they tell the universe, I'm done negotiating with mediocrity. When you decide, you stop entertaining your old limitations. You stop letting fear rent space in your head. You stop asking for permission to become great. You stop saying, I'll try, and start saying, I will. That's not just mindset. That's spiritual authority. The same moment you decide, your identity starts to shift from, I hope I can, to, I know I will. That's the moment when faith takes the wheel. But here's the hook. Most people never actually decide. They wish, they want, they wait, they confuse desire with decision. Desire feels good, but decision changes reality. Desire is passive. Decision is active. You can't tiptoe your way into transformation. You've got to jump. You've got to burn the boats and tell yourself there's no way back to average. The old version of you can't come into the new season of your life. You can't bring old habits into new blessings. And once you decide that, once you make that inner declaration that says, I'm done playing small, every cell in your body starts moving in alignment with that truth. You start seeing opportunities where you used to see obstacles. You start finding strength where you used to feel stuck. That's the magic of decision. It rewires your entire direction. Think about it. How many lives have been changed not by time, but by a single decision? A person decides to get healthy and the transformation begins that same day. A person decides to walk away from toxic patterns and peace begins to flow immediately. A person decides to build a business and momentum starts the very moment they act. The power isn't in the days that follow. It's in the moment you decide. Because a real decision doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It creates them. You can't steer a parked car. But once you start moving even just 1 inch in faith, direction and clarity start showing up. And here's another truth. Decision doesn't mean it's easy. It means it's worth it. The minute you decide to change, resistance will show up. Your fears, your doubts, your old habits, they'll all come knocking, trying to convince you that the old version of you is safer. But remember, this comfort is the silent killer of greatness. Growth doesn't come wrapped in ease. It comes disguised as challenge. The people who look unstoppable didn't find courage. They decided not to quit. Every legend started with a moment of decision. They said, enough is enough, and life had no choice but to move with their faith. So ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Another Monday, another opportunity, another right moment. The right moment is right now. The clock is already ticking on your greatness. And the only thing standing between who you are and who you want to be is one powerful, unshakable decision. The decision to stop being available to your excuses. The decision to show up for your destiny. The decision to act like your dream is already real. When you decide you don't need motivation, you become motivation. Because the world doesn't change when you wait for the right time. It changes the second you decide you're done waiting. Let me drop a truth that most people miss. You don't achieve success first and then become someone new. You become someone new first, and then success follows. Identity always comes before achievement. Too many people are trying to change their results without changing the person producing those results. They want to make more money, but they still think like someone who's broke. They want influence, but they still see themselves as insignificant. They want discipline, but they keep calling themselves lazy. You can't outperform the identity you believe you have. You can't build $1 million life with $100 self-image. The outer world will always mirror the inner world. Here's the hook. The results you see in your life right now aren't random. They're a reflection of who you've accepted yourself to be. Every habit, every choice, every reaction flows from identity. If you see yourself as average, you'll act average. If you see yourself as powerful, you'll walk with authority. The problem is, most people try to do more instead of trying to be more. They chase the next strategy, the next motivation, the next opportunity, but their mindset is still stuck in the version of them that doubts, delays, and plays small. You can't keep patching old identity with new effort. You've got to upgrade the whole operating system. Ask yourself, who are you when no one's watching? What story are you telling yourself every day? because your life is always a reflection of the story you believe. You can't keep saying, I'm not good enough and expect to live like someone who is. You can't keep identifying with struggle and expect to attract success. Identity is not what you hope for, it's what you accept as true. You must decide to identify as the person who already has the discipline, the focus, the confidence, and the faith that your dream requires. Because the fastest way to become successful is to start thinking, speaking, and behaving like the person who already is. The mind doesn't work with contradictions, it seeks alignment. If you say you want success but think like failure, your actions will always hesitate. If you say you want peace but feed on negativity, your spirit will stay at war. But when your thoughts, words, and actions all line up with a higher identity, your results shift fast. That's why people who suddenly start believing in themselves seem to blow up overnight. It's not luck, it's alignment. They finally stopped fighting their potential and started embodying it. There's power in deciding who you are before the world tells you who you're not. When you declare, I am a finisher, you stop quitting. When you declare, I am a leader, you stop waiting for permission. When you declare, I am worthy, you stop chasing validation. That's not ego, that's ownership. You are stepping into the version of you that's been buried under doubt and fear. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That means identity isn't built in the gym, the office, or the boardroom. It's built in your heart, in the private places of your mind where no one else can hear the conversation you're having with yourself. And here's the shift. Instead of asking, what do I need to do to succeed? Start asking, who do I need to become to deserve success? Because when you elevate your identity, the how takes care of itself. The person who believes they're disciplined naturally makes disciplined choices. The person who believes they're worthy of abundance naturally attracts opportunities. The person who believes they're a winner naturally finds ways to win. Identity is the foundation. Achievement is just the structure built on top of it. So today, stop trying to change your life from the outside and start changing it from the inside out. Speak differently. Walk differently. Expect differently. The old you is built for survival. The new you is built for success. Don't just set goals, set standards. Don't just try to do better. Decide to be better. Because the day you stop identifying as the person who struggles and start identifying as the person who conquers, your life will shift so fast it'll feel supernatural. The truth is simple. Your results will never rise higher than your identity. So if you want to change your world, start by changing the person running it, you. Let me start with a simple but life-altering truth. You will never rise above the level of your words. What you speak is what you shape. Every sentence you say is either building your future or breaking it down. That's why I always say, speak what you seek until you see what you said. Your tongue is the steering wheel of your destiny, and most people don't even realize they're driving themselves in circles because they keep speaking defeat while praying for victory. You can't declare, I'm tired, I'm broke, I'm stuck, and expect to live in freedom. Your mouth is planting seeds and your life is just the harvest. Here's the hook. Your words are not just sounds, they are spiritual commands. Every time you speak, your subconscious mind listens, your emotions align, and your behavior follows. When you speak weakness, your body becomes weak. When you speak strength, your spirit starts to stand up. Words have creative power. They build worlds or they destroy them. That's not poetry. That's principle. Look around your life right now. Every result you see, good or bad, started as a sentence. You said it first, even if it was only in your mind. That's how powerful your speech is. Most people sabotage themselves not because they lack talent, but because they speak against their own potential. They've gotten so comfortable describing their pain that they've forgotten how to declare their power. They speak more about what's missing than what's possible. They speak more about their fear than their faith. And when your words stay small, your world does too. You can't keep talking like a victim and expect to live like a victor. The universe doesn't respond to what you wish. It responds to what you speak with conviction. Every time you say, I can't, you shut down your creative mind. But when you say, I can, your mind starts searching for how. The moment you shift your vocabulary, you shift your vibration. That's why confident people seem to attract success effortlessly. They're not lucky. They're linguistically aligned. They talk like it's already done, and that energy pulls opportunities toward them. It's not magic. It's mindset in motion. The same way a thermostat controls a room's temperature, your words control your life's atmosphere. If you don't like what you're living, change what you're saying. When you start declaring positive, powerful, faith-filled words, at first it might feel fake. You might say, I'm successful while your bank account disagrees. You might say, I'm healed while your body still feels pain. But don't let your current condition silence your future confession. Words are seeds, and seeds don't grow overnight. You don't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. But if you keep watering it with consistency, it will grow. The same way your declarations will eventually become your reality if you stay faithful in speech. You've got to understand the words you repeat daily become the soundtrack of your identity. If your soundtrack is full of limitation, your life will play small. But if your soundtrack is full of faith, power, and purpose, your life will play big. You've got to train your mouth to serve your mission. Speak life even when life feels heavy. Speak success even when success seems distant. Speak gratitude even when it's hard to find something to be grateful for. Because words don't just describe your reality, they design it. So here's a challenge. Monitor your language for just 1 week. No negative self-talk, no complaining, no doubting aloud. Replace every limitation with affirmation. Instead of saying, I'm not there yet, say, I'm on my way. Instead of saying, this is hard, say, this is helping me grow. Instead of saying, I'm trying, say, I'm doing. These small shifts in speech create massive shifts in mindset. Your life changes the moment your language does because your mouth sets your motion. You have the power to call things into existence. You can speak peace into chaos, abundance into lack, strength into weakness, and clarity into confusion. Your voice is not a whisper in the wind. It's a command to creation. So stop using it to describe defeat and start using it to declare destiny, because when your words rise, your world follows. Speak what you seek until one day you look around and realize everything you used to say is now standing in front of you. Let me make this clear from the start. Everyone wants success until they realize what it actually costs. Discipline is the price tag on every dream you've ever had. It's the invisible bridge between desire and destiny, between talking about greatness and actually living it. You can have the best vision, the biggest goals, the most powerful intentions, but without discipline, all of that is just noise. The universe doesn't reward wishes, it rewards work. It doesn't respond to motivation, it responds to movement. And that movement only happens when discipline becomes your default, not your struggle. Here's the hook. Discipline isn't punishment, it's power. It's the highest form of self-love because it says, I will not let temporary feelings destroy permanent potential. Discipline is not about being strict, it's about being strategic. It's about training your mind to serve your purpose even when your emotions don't agree. The truth is, motivation will fail you. Inspiration fades. But discipline, that's the muscle that keeps you moving when everything inside you wants to stop. Discipline is what wakes you up when comfort whispers, sleep a little longer. It's what keeps you consistent when no one's watching. It's what separates those who dream from those who do. Most people never reach their potential because they keep letting their feelings negotiate their future. They say, I don't feel like it, as if greatness cares about feelings. Feelings are visitors. Discipline is the landlord. You can't build an empire on emotion. You build it on commitment. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're sending a message to your subconscious mind that you're serious. You're saying, we don't move based on moods, we move based on mission. And once your mind believes that, momentum becomes unstoppable. Think about it. Every master was once a beginner who refused to quit. Every champion was once a competitor who showed up again and again long after the excitement was gone. The difference between average and exceptional is not talent, it's consistency. The people you admire didn't get lucky, they got disciplined. They decided that excuses were too expensive and that every small action mattered. That's the secret discipline compounds. One act of discipline today may not look like much, but do it again tomorrow and the next day, and suddenly you've built a life of excellence without even realizing it. You want to change your life in 1 week? Start by mastering your habits for 1 day, just one. Wake up earlier than your excuses. Keep a promise to yourself. Do the thing you've been avoiding, because once you win the war of 1 day, you've proven that you can win again. Success doesn't arrive in a single explosion. It arrives through daily execution. You don't need 1,000 perfect days. You just need 1 day repeated 1,000 times. That's discipline. But here's the real power. Discipline doesn't just build results, it builds respect for yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you rebuild trust in your own potential. You stop saying, maybe I can, and start saying, I always do. That's where real confidence comes from, not from compliments, not from achievements, but from the quiet, knowing that when it's time to act, you show up. When you can trust yourself to stay consistent, your confidence becomes unshakable. You've got to remember, discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. You'll fall, you'll fail, you'll have days where it feels like nothing's working. But discipline says, I'm not quitting, I'm adjusting. It doesn't demand that you never mess up, it demands that you never give up. Every time you get back up, you're teaching your future that you're serious about it. And the beautiful thing is, once you fall in love with the process, the results start chasing you. So if you want to be unrecognizable in a week, stop negotiating with laziness. Replace every excuse with execution. Don't wait to feel ready. Act until readiness shows up, because every step of discipline you take is another brick laid on the bridge to your destiny. The road to mastery is not paved with motivation. It's built with moments of discipline stacked on top of each other. And one day you'll look back at the life you built and realize it wasn't luck, it wasn't chance, it was you showing up day after day when most people wouldn't. Let me tell you something that most people overlook. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a frequency. It's the vibration that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary elevation. You can be talented, disciplined, ambitious, and still feel stuck if you're not grateful. Gratitude is what keeps your blessings flowing. It's what keeps your heart open when life feels heavy. The truth is, a grateful spirit can find light in any darkness, while an ungrateful one can find darkness in any light. Gratitude doesn't wait for everything to be perfect. It finds perfection in what already exists. When you understand that, you stop chasing happiness and start creating it. Here's the hook. Gratitude is not something you feel after you succeed. It's what causes success to find you. Most people say, I'll be grateful when I have more money, when I get the promotion, when my dream comes true. But that's backwards. You have to be grateful first. Gratitude is the seed, not the harvest. The moment you start thanking God for what you already have, you begin attracting what you've been praying for, because gratitude opens doors that complaining keeps closed. You can't expect abundance to flow into a life full of bitterness and blame. The energy of gratitude multiplies whatever it touches. When you appreciate what's small, it grows. When you complain about what's missing, it shrinks. The problem is, people underestimate the spiritual power of a thankful heart. Gratitude changes your focus. It takes your eyes off what you lack and places them on what you possess. And here's the beauty. You can't feel fear and gratitude at the same time. You can't be anxious and thankful in the same breath. Gratitude is the reset button of the mind. It silences chaos and amplifies peace. The moment you start saying, thank you, even for the little things, you shift from scarcity to abundance. You stop seeing life as something happening to you and start realizing it's happening for you. That shift alone can change your entire destiny. Every morning you wake up, you've got two choices, complain or praise. One keeps you stuck. The other lifts you higher. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. And gratitude is the most powerful response you can choose. It turns pain into purpose, problems into progress, and setbacks into setups. When you're grateful for challenges, you stop fearing them. You start understanding that every struggle is simply stretching you into the person you were designed to be. Gratitude doesn't deny difficulty. It redefines it. It says, this may not be easy, but it's shaping me for something greater. Think about it. Some of the most successful people in the world didn't get there because they had it easy. They got there because they learned to find grace in the grind. They learned to give thanks even when nothing made sense. Gratitude is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the discipline of finding gold in the dust. Because when you start thanking God in advance, your faith grows stronger than your fear. You begin to operate like success is inevitable, not optional. That's when miracles start to happen. And here's something powerful. Gratitude creates momentum. When you're thankful, you take better actions. You serve with more joy. You treat people better. You think clearer. Gratitude attracts abundance because it puts you in alignment with it. It's like tuning a radio. When your heart is on the right frequency, you start receiving the signal. You start noticing blessings that were invisible before. Doors open. People show up. Opportunities appear. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because you started seeing it through the lens of appreciation. So for the next 7 days, make gratitude your strategy. Don't just feel thankful. Speak it. Write it, live it. Every morning, list what you're grateful for before you start your day. Every night, thank God for one thing that went right, even if it's small. Watch how your energy shifts, how your mindset sharpens, how your results accelerate. Because gratitude isn't passive, it's powerful. It transforms ordinary moments into divine momentum. The more grateful you are, the more aligned you become with success. And when gratitude becomes your lifestyle, you don't just attract blessings, you become one. So here's my challenge to you for the next 7 days. Wake up and act like your dream already belongs to you. Speak with conviction, move with purpose, and thank God like it's already done. Because when you do that, you'll look up a week from now and realize you didn't just change your life, you changed your identity.